Dreams are such that more often than not, we likely never remember them clearly. Elusive visions and thoughts from our subconscious minds trying to manifest themselves as a sort of glimpse of understanding to our own stressful reality upon waking hours. But dreams are scattered, full of flashes of things that only sort of begin to make sense, surrounded by others comically disconnected and bizarre, like putting together a single puzzle from 3 or 4 different sets. What would it be like to be trapped in our own coma then? To be stuck with the incoherent thoughts you may never know the answers to as you try to piece your own reality back together? Would you even want to wake up when the pieces line up? In the Kickstarter game Neversong, this is what you're tasked with. Originally based on the successful Flash game called Coma, duo developer team Thomas Brush and Eric Coburn intended to remake the game to flesh out its ideas with a more developed story, characters, and a combat system. You play as Peet, a youth who finds himself in a coma after his girlfriend Ren is kidnapped by the shadowy throngs of Dr. Smiles. As you make your way through Peet's town, you'll interact with the other kids and explore the dream world, eventually making your way into different dungeons. At the conclusion of these chaptered areas, Peet will fight different misshapen and corrupt manifestations of the adults from the town. These boss fights win you a piece of a song, which when played, will earn you new items and gear, and will lead Peet closer to the dark truth behind his own coma.
And from the shadows, a face of white snatched poor Ren out of sight.
Brush's art style is certainly distinct, as seen in his work on Flash games of the past, or the team's more recent release, Pinstripe. It carries a spooky, almost Burton-esque quality to it that is both charming and creepy at the same time. Characters all have very hollow eyes, and environments are atmospherically riddled in thick shadow and dark skies. The town, as well as the kids that inhabit it, carry an air of Stephen King's It, embodying both the comfort of youthful nostalgia and childhood bonds, juxtaposed significantly with a sinister, threatening undertone. All of these elements combine with solid voice work to make situations and characters that can be quite effectively disturbing, while retaining a charming and endearing playfulness.
Look at him hanging up there. Lol, I'm just messing. I captured him because he tried to rip off my shoulder blades. Dead serious, brah brah brah.
While the joys of the town and the atmosphere are excellent to take in, the combat is less satisfying. While it is effectively weighty and punchy to hit things with Peet's bat, the range is quite short. This makes it feel like there's not an effective tactic to battles other than getting up close and wailing on foes, which oftentimes results in taking a barrage of hits yourself due to the fact that you can't distance yourself effectively. The crunch of the bat and the screen shakes still help sell the hits well, but combat never evolves past that. Certain enemy types also fly up high, which makes the lack of other optional weapons or methods of fighting frustrating at times. But if you do enjoy hitting things, the environment still has plenty of pots and grass to break apart for fun, besides the enemies and bosses, much like the environment from Hollow Knight. It can also be a letdown that Neversong doesn't quite evolve its gameplay loop as often as it could. While it's true that you'll unlock items to help you progress in new ways through the different areas you'll explore through, many of these are only used a handful of times, rather than expanding how you play the game as a whole. There are times you'll swing on vines, do physics-related elevator platforming, and at one point, we'll need to solve a chemistry-related puzzle. Most of the time, however, these tasks are more frustrating than interesting due to the bouncy jumping, and eventually just amount to flipping a switch to open a door. More puzzles or exploration with less of a focus on combat would definitely have been welcome. Despite all this, Neversong shines with character. Though combat isn't perfect and there could be more to do, it never overstays its welcome, and uncovering the secrets of Peet's past as well as the truth behind Dr. Smiles and the town's kids is generally very engaging. It carries an atmosphere and tone all its own, and given the uniqueness of the two developers, it will be genuinely exciting to see where they go next. Though filled with a myriad of mysteries that connect to form a picture like a mosaic of shattered glass pieces, like a good dream, in the end it's easier to remember the good parts and forget the confusion, frustrations, and how things can be disconnected when looked at too closely. Neversong is still worth playing for the spooky atmosphere, and is an easy weekend playthrough for the fall season, or people looking for a charming game with a little bit of a dark edge.
The gun says... The baby says...
I want